So yeah, so yeah, yeah, looks good. Hey, welcome back once again to one completely unscripted video about photography this time. And I have been willing or wanting to do this video for a while now. But I needed some results because I'm just going to talk a little bit about the camera I own, and I had to get some results with it. So I needed to shoot some rolls so I could just get an idea. Once again, I'm not going to flood the stream or the video with images, but I will pop one or other during the video so you guys get the feeling about the camera, especially the lens, because as you know, film cameras as not maybe digital too in a way, but film cameras, it's all about the film and the lens, because the camera bodies, they are just shutter speeds, aperture settings, and overall feel and comfort. But this one has I have several Olympus OEMs, as you know. They are my number one cameras, but I have this one now, and I'm also enjoying it very, very much, and the lens also. So without further ado, let me just show you the camera I'm going to talk about today. So here it is. Sorry, I was just covering the models here. So it's a Konica AutoReflex T4. Okay, so as you can see here, this one looks a little bit different because it has a custom skin. So this camera with the lens, as you know, if you follow my channel, I do not like to spend too much money. I like to spend the exact amount of money I want to spend on the camera. So this one was just the exact amount. I don't remember exactly, but with something around 75 euros with the lens. And it's in pretty decent shape. It has some brassing here, but I enjoy. This is nothing special. It's normal to have brassing on the edges. Just gives character and charisma to the camera. And this one has actual film in it. I usually film these videos without film on the camera, so I can just fool around with it. But I have been shooting a color film here, and I have shooted previous black and white with it also. I'm going to pop one image here and there for you guys to actually see. And this one here has an awesome lens. It's a 50mm 1.7. As you know, the 50mm, it's one of my, or maybe my favorite focal lengths. So it's a Konica Hexagon AR 50mm f1.7. So the lens, it's in a very good shape. It offers great results, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. It's solid. This is not going to break anytime soon. And the lens, awesome, really great. I can shoot it all day long at 1.7, and the results are pretty decent, although I like to step it down a little bit just to f4, not f4, sorry, I got distracted by my cat, to f2, and then it starts to shine. So once again, I'm not going to go through too many technical details. You can find those online, that's readily available. I'm just going to give you a quick tour and tell you my opinion about it. So this is a very similar camera to my favorite camera, my number one camera, the OM1, but it has a couple of features. So this is not number one, but it's 1.1 something like that. If I shoot it enough, maybe it gets to number one. I don't know yet, but there are a couple of things I really enjoy in this camera that are not perfect on the OM1s. So let's start with the flash hot shoe. So if you remember, on the OM1s, Olympus OM1s, it's removable. I tend to lose them, and they get damaged really fast. And if you want to buy a hot shoe for the camera, they tend to go a little bit steep on price. So this one, it's there, and look, it doesn't really bother me in any way or form. It's there, I need it, it's there, every time I need it, it's fine, it's great. And one other thing it has that your ones don't have, it's an easy way to do a double exposure. So if you look here, there is a little button here. It says ME off. So if I click it here, you will see that the lever will just, if I extend the advanced lever, if I click this, it will retract, which means when it's retracted, the meter it's off. So even though this camera works fine without batteries, as you can see, my battery door, it's off because I just want to show the batteries. It works fine without batteries. It's fully mechanical camera without the batteries. It has an auto exposure meter, so I can say it's aperture priority. So I can set here. Let me see if I can focus close enough. So as you can see, there is a green thing there. It's called AE, auto exposure. So if I set my camera to that setting here, the aperture there, now it's fully automatic. So I can just, I'm sorry, it's a shutter priority. I misled you. It's a shutter priority. So I'll just set my shutter speed, and then I can just trust the camera to set my aperture. Inside the viewfinder, I can actually check the details. So in the right hand side, I have a needle that will show the exposure. I just need to set my shutter speed, and then it's going to suggest me the aperture to use, or notify me the aperture it's going to use, better said. Or I can just get it out and put I don't know, in f4, for example. Okay, and it also is going to continually, it will continue to suggest me the aperture based on my shutter speed. So even though it does have some electronic features, that's where the battery comes into handy, it will still operate in a fully mechanical way without the batteries. Okay, which brings me back to this feature here. So one thing that the OEM does not have, it's a double exposure feature, so easily accessible. So I have film here, but it's fine. I'm going to dispose of a couple of frames. So if I fall, this is already wound, okay, so it's ready to shoot. So if I take a shot here, and if I hold this button, that will just turn off the auto exposure if there is any batteries in. If I hold it in, if you notice here, this will not advance. So I hold the button, I will advance the film. See, I just recocked the shutter, and now I can take another shot. Let's do it again. I will hold the button. Let me see if I can do this with two hands very quick. You will see this will not advance. So I'm going to see. So this is just recocking the shutter, but it's not advancing the film. So now I have a triple exposure. I can do as many as I like. So in the OEMs, I don't think it's possible to do at least that easily. So two features that makes this, in my opinion, a better camera: the built-in hot shoe, the ready available double, triple, whatever exposure you want to have on the camera. The batteries are optional. So for me, in terms of shutter speeds, it can go from bulb to 1000, like it's pretty much standard on these cameras. So pretty standard here. And if you pull this up, you can set the ISO, okay? Or the ISA, or whatever you want to call it. So for the meter. Once again, the meter needs the batteries to run, and we have here a battery check. It's not working because it has no batteries yet. I will add it in a second. Okay, so I'm not going to open this because I have film in there, but you have here this little lever. You just pull it down and this will just pop out. Pretty standard stuff. And here you have your lens release. Okay, so in here you have your depth of field preview. Okay, so, and of course the self-timer. So all around, it's a pretty standard camera. but it's really solid. It feels really nice. I know I will not drop it intentionally, but if I do, I'm pretty sure it will survive it. It's very solid. And the lens, this lens here, it's pretty awesome. I am very happy with it. I'm seeing if I can find a longer lens like an 85 or 135 for some portrait works. Even though the 50 works fine for portraits, I would like something longer for some occasions. This skin here was added by the guy who sold me the camera, and it looks really sexy. And all around, I really enjoyed it. It has all the features that OM1 has, and the hot shoe, it's here. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going to lose it or break it. That's one of the things I don't say I hate, but I really dislike on the OMs. And the double exposure feature here, it can be really handy. But the batteries, if you see here, there is a warning. So it says Achtung. Every word in German sounds aggressive, but it's fun. Achtung. And it says something Batterien, something PX625 or Varta 7002. Let me try my German here. Let me see. Bei anderen Batterien glitschen ab Messung and the last word I cannot pronounce it, but let me try. Sounds nice? No, not at all. So these are, as you probably already know, if you deal with cameras, these batteries do not exist. But the guy who sold me, it's using some LR9s, a couple, and they seem to work fine. So just popping two LR9s with a plus sign to the top. You just close it. So LR9s are readily available and easy to get, which is good. So I'm still yet to change the batteries. I'm already shot about 10 or 12 rolls, and I'm still yet to make it go depleted. So now if I press my button here, it will just shine. Let me see if I can shade this. And now I can operate this camera in fully automatic. So I'll just set on auto exposure and set my shutter speed, and the camera will decide the aperture. And one thing I noticed is that when I'm on manual exposure, so when my aperture ring it's off the AE exposure, so if I set this to the AE here, okay, AE, now I'm looking through the finder and I have a needle on the right hand side suggesting me what aperture it's going to use depending on the situation. Right now it's saying I'm really overexposed, so I'm going to set this to something faster. Okay, now the needle is just suggesting me some apertures. And also when you are set to any other option, like you put on f2.8, there is a red tab on the top left side. And once I saw it the first time, I thought something was wrong with the camera. Then I checked the manual, and that red tab on the top left side is suggesting me that it's just warning me that I'm on manual exposure. So just telling, okay, just be careful, don't do anything stupid. That's what that red tab means. So I'm going to put it back to AE, and now the needle is saying I'm on 1000 on 250th of a second. Now it's saying I'm going to set 2.8, 1.7. 1.7, so it's really dark here. I'm going to put it just like that. So this really works really fine. Just be careful if you set it to total manual exposure, and if you see that red tab on the top left side, it's just normal. Don't be scared. It will not show up on our pictures. It's just a warning saying you are on manual exposure, so just be careful from now on. Also, if you see that the needle is not corresponding, so if you set your shutter speed and the needle is not telling you what aperture is going to use, just be sure to have this on the on. It has happened to me. I was looking through here another day, and the needle was not showing up. It was just stuck, and I said, "What's going on?" I just need to pull this out a little bit like this. It clicks, and now everything should be pretty much okay. So I'm not going to bother much more with this camera. If you want an advice, if you find it for a decent price, just go and get it. It's getting close to my number one. It's really solid. I'm just going to shoot a couple of rolls, but it's a good contender to get the number one and to be the household champion of film cameras here, at least manual ones, okay? Because I have my EOS 3, that's my number one not digital, but electronic camera, my Canon EOS 3. But this for manual, if it's not, it's almost there, so maybe it's my OM1 killer, okay? So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.